Here we go.
Let's rumble fish. Punxsutawney Phil says, this is the time, this is the place, and this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since everything is geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're going to get.
More winter?
More winter. 6 more weeks of podcasting.
Woohoo!
That's a thing.
At least.
6 more years of podcasting.
Okay.
Only saw his shadow. 6 more years of podcasting.
There we go.
Okay.
This is your host, IMC. This week we'll be talking to Dungeons & Dragons homebrew creator, Archmage, Derek of the Mage College. After that, stick around for upcoming events and our question of the week. Hi.
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 It's been a little while, hasn't it? Who are you? I know.
been a
Seriously,
year.
I don't even know. I have to embroider my name into my shirt just so I know who the hell I am.
Luckily, your name is C, and
There
that's easy.
you go. It's easy. Just one little swoosh.
Who are you?
So-
Who am I? Where am I? What's going on?
I don't know.
Wow.
So Tony's here, Tanya's here, Billy is here, I am here, and Sherry is on the phone. Hello, producer Sherry.
Hello.
We missed your face, we missed your voice, we've missed just about everything about you at this
It's
point.
been forever.
It really has been. I think it's been
been
what? It's been a month and a half since we've been in the
6
studio.
weeks.
6 weeks. Well, it's a
Yes.
month and a half too. Thank you, math teacher.
Well, it was like December something was the last time we were in the studio.
Right, and then we were
now
going to
it's-
be in the studio a couple weeks ago, but then the storm hit Rochester. Snowmageddon. And I had like 2 feet in my yard at one point or another.
The true Alberta Clipper.
Yeah, there you go. But that was a snowpocalypse.
The weather's been wacky. It was 30 degrees below zero a couple days ago. It's going to be 50 tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
I
it's
know.
already
It's
40
beauti-
outside.
it's
a
beautiful
beautiful day
outside.
outside today, right now.
Wow.
On Super Bowl Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, I heard. Oh, there was a good meme I saw earlier. Hang on, just let me call it up real quick before we go any further. Okay, so here was the posts. Apparently, there's an important episode of football on this week.
Sorry.
And then the reply was, yes, the football fandom is going nuts. There's lots of cosplaying going on. Tickets to the con, however, are outrageous. So I got a kick out of that.
Yes.
So
I
get
mean,
it.
what's the price ratio from a football game to a con? I feel like they have to be comparable.
Well,
not exactly.
Well, like our weekend tickets for the con are $30 for the weekend for
Yeah.
whatever. One ticket to Super Bowl Sunday tonight, $3,000.
yeah, $3,000.
On a second site.
So you can drop $30 on a weekend with FC3 in April.
I mean, what's like a more? I feel like San Diego Comic-Con would be a better equivalency to Super Bowl Sunday.
No, seriously, no, not even then, because you got a weekend ticket at San Diego is going to be something like $150.
Okay.
You know, so you got $150 there as opposed to
And
$3,000.
you have a couple days to enjoy instead
and Tanya,
of
is that
one
a
day.
nosebleed seat at
I
Super
don't
Bowl?
know. I could
Is the
look it up.
$3,000? Yeah, look that up when you get a moment, but not right now because it's not important.
Look
Not
up the
'cause-
Maroon 5, where
Yeah.
what's his name will be
Adam
Levine.
Adam Levine will be on you, like talking to you as
Yes.
he's singing.
sitting in your lap and chatting with you while
Okay.
performing the halftime show. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, Tanya's like, yeah, where do I sign up for that? I'll cash in my retirement for that one.
I don't have a retirement, so
Yeah, welcome to New
I'm
York
gonna,
State.
Yeah, work forever.
There you go. We did make that comment at the office the other day because people were talking about, oh, this guy's a couple years away from retirement. Oh, this person's 5 years from retirement. And they looked at me, Chris, what do you got? And I said, well, I know that my wake and my retirement party
Will be the same
will
day?
be the same event.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to actually be back in the studio.
Yeah.
It was freezing the last couple days.
It
I'm glad
was.
to actually see the sun and be able
Feel
to
some
see everybody
warm,
and not necessarily be
know.
stuck in the house.
How much snow did you get where you are, Sherry?
Sherry?
Oh, sorry.
Sherry, baby.
Anyway.
We got a lot.
Enough to blame Ange for everything, right?
Yeah.
Always do.
It's funny. I
do.
always know when Sherry's town is getting hit with snow because she will Facebook post to Angie
Directly.
and hit her as hard as possible. She'll be like, I hate you. It's snowing. I hate you. And then Angie will, of course, taunt Sherry.
Yes, because
And-
Angie loves the snow.
Yes.
How did Angie do with the super freezing cold weather, though, the other day?
Oh, no. She was like,
Miserable.
There was a whole thing about cutting glass references being made, and it was.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. But just suffice to say that, yeah. She goes, I think somebody keyed my car. No, it was me just walking by. I'm like, okay. Stop while you're ahead.
So how cold did it get down there?
Well, I think with wind chill, I think we topped off at negative 22.
Nice. Oh, that's astounding.
Yeah, I think we got between like negative 25 and negative 30 up here.
Mm-hmm.
Did they close schools down there?
Some of them did not. Some of them were on a delay. Some of them actually closed. Some of them closed the night before.
Yeah, that happened here too.
Yeah, the city was closed Wednesday and Thursday. I had 4 kids in the morning on Wednesday, 3 kids in the afternoon out of like our potential 30-some-odd kids. And then we had Thursday off because it
Seems
was
like a decent-sized class, you know?
we got nothing done.
They played board games.
Yes, we were playing
amazing.
categories for a good portion of the morning with a student.
Meanwhile, Billy and I were slugging away at our regular day jobs
Chris,
without even a break.
Yeah, radio doesn't close.
Yeah.
Chris kept getting pictures. Look, I'm playing categories. Look, I'm playing Skippo. Look, I'm not doing anything.
I actually had an interview.
Did you really?
Yeah.
For?
For a company called Videc. They do like printing solutions.
Okay.
So, fingers crossed.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will cross both. Look, I'm crossing as many fingers.
If you can see, he's now crossed
4 sets.
4 sets.
Okay.
And he's crossing his thumbs. Okay,
What
he did
about
it.
feet?
I'm not crossing my feet. They hurt. Anyway. All right. So that
Tony,
hurt.
I want to thank
That
you
was
for your
weird.
advice. I did get a gaming computer. It's not a laptop. It's a desktop.
Okay, awesome,
She has gone to the dark side.
I did.
perfect.
It's amazing.
I just feel like gaming
took
desktops
forever,
are
though.
like much better quality than gaming
Oh, yeah.
laptops.
And my complaint is I had to download new video drivers that because it said World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It says your drivers are
The
out
one
of
thing
date.
is,
That
I
sucked.
just realized this, but I'm going to need more storage. I got a 1 terabyte solid disk drive. I'm probably going to splurge for like a 4 terabyte hard disk at some point.
That's the way
So-
to go nowadays.
Yeah.
And think about back in the day, like when I first got my computer, my first PC out of college was in 1995. And it had
Wow,
a
you're
540 megabyte hard drive.
Yeah, that's tiny.
Yeah, but it had everything I needed. And my buddy Mark, who worked at Radio Shack at the time, said that's the biggest hard drive you're ever going to need. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
How little he
no.
knew.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
then,
even
because
then.
the graphics
Even
and
then.
stuff weren't
Yeah.
going to be that.
Yeah.
So
Billy,
Chris.
how are you, Billy?
I'm good.
We've missed you, man.
I've missed you. I keep hoping we're going to podcast, and I keep checking. And
Yeah.
you guys did a Facebook Live thing that I missed, and then another
the very
Facebook.
Blue Cross Arena.
Sherry had that awesome idea to start doing the
No,
watch parties.
the watch parties, the
Yeah.
Firefly.
And so we're going to kind
Sorry by me screwing it up on Wednesday.
of, yeah.
You know
That
what?
wasn't you. That was Facebook.
Well, the first one I think was me when I inadvertently ended it.
Yeah, she caused the first problem.
And I didn't realize. I just was trying to back out of it on my phone. It's like, end watch party. Sure, I'm going to end my end of it. That's what I thought. And so,
Oops.
yeah,
You know
it
what
was
I
a
think
big
would be
oops.
pretty
I'm
cool?
so sorry.
I'm not sure if the site we're using will be using for the next watch party does this, but like a group of us actually like in person watching it, and then one person off to the side, like
Videoing it?
No, like
a picture.
No, it doesn't.
online, looking at the comments and reading them off to us.
Oh, yeah. When we are more advanced and are making millions of dollars, we can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
right
actually,
now, no.
YouTube, the YouTube Live is pretty good at that. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. So,
Future references.
We were looking at Rabbit because with Facebook watch parties we're limited to what they have on the actual site.
okay.
But with Rabbit, which is what I'm looking at with us doing, and I know a couple of names that use it. We can use anything. We can watch anything that I have access to on Netflix. Anything that I have access to on, I think YouTube, and Hulu.
Okay. Well, that broadens the horizons a bit.
So we have a lot of different things that we can use.
That's cool. Well,
So
we're going to have
that's-
some fun with that. So Wednesday night watch party with the FC3 gang. I like that. That's fun. That was a really good idea, Cher.
Thank you.
So, all right. So we're done babbling for a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got the Archmage himself, Derek of the Mage College. He's going to be online with us on the phone, right? Not in studio.
On the phone, yes.
On the phone. So we're going to get him on the phone, and when we come back, we're going to have a little chat about the Mage College. So Gamer Geeks, tune in. This is your thing. Ever since its humblest beginnings in 1967, Dungeons & Dragons has never been a game about strict adherence to rules and regulations, despite what many of the people we've played with have said over the years. Despite numerous editions and multiple core books, D&D has always encouraged dungeon masters to change the rules that they feel needed changing and make the game their own. To encourage creativity and participation in the players, create unique situations and flavor the setting to their liking, DMs will tweak, rearrange, and create out of whole cloth what they need to push their stories forward. This is often referred to as homebrewing. And then some people take it even further, creating races, classes, magic items, even whole worlds. One such person is today's guest. Derek Nekritz, known online as Archmage. Derek runs a website with his amazing wife, Canna, where they share many homebrew races, character classes, archetypes, and more. He's been with us before. Welcome back to the show, Derek. It's great to hear from you again, brother.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. See, here's the thing is in the past 12 months, I think I've really kind of come to grips with the fact that despite all of my particular vices and hobbies and things like that, I am, at the core of my soul, a gamer. If you give me a D&D book, I am a happy camper. There's no bad time spent with a D&D book as far as I'm concerned, unless it's, having to read it really, cover to cover because you're about to get clobbered with something that's important. But anyway, so I know how, and people who've listened to this show know my story. I've talked about it on several occasions, but I got to hear from you. How did you get into D&D in the first place?
Well, funny enough, my story is very much kind of like the reluctant hero archetype.
Okay.
So I had a couple run-ins with D&D in very early college, and I had this kind of this moment where you get a lot of, like, how do I phrase this? Being what it was. And
right.
I had heard kind of like the negative things about D&D, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, well, that would be stooping to the nerdy low or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you listening, it's not true. We'll get to that part. It's great. It's my anti-drug. But so I had a couple run-ins with it in early college, and it didn't really go that great. It was in the middle of 4th edition, which I've come to appreciate being a creator, because you constantly have to look around. But in 2013, my friend group said, hey, I think we should play Dungeons & Dragons. And I said, okay, cool, yeah, neat, I guess. And, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, great, yeah, we're dealing with this again. And they said, well, we need someone to DM. Who's going to do it? And there was this long pause around the room.
Oh, no.
That seems to happen.
It does.
It really does. I find the DM is usually the one that's like, I'll do it. I'll take the ring to Mordor.
Right.
Though
I don't know the way.
Right. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll do it. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be either kind of fun or awful. Unfortunately for me, I had a background in acting and spending time at, I grew up at Sterling Renaissance Festival. That's how Sherry got to know me. She
Right.
Before I was an idea.
Sterling back in the glory days.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, capital G, glory days. So I decided, hey, well, if I'm going to be running this thing, I'm going to make this like an actual story. Because all my experiences with D&D had been, hey, yeah, you walk in a room, there's roll initiative, and there's like 12 people at a table because this DM didn't know how to say no to more people joining.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm going to make this an engaging story. And in a single night, playing between, I think we started at 7 p.m. and we didn't stop till 3 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of those long sessions, but like you come up being like, okay, yeah, no, this is something, something good. And I came out of it, with this love for the game. Pardon if you hear any background noise. I have 2 parakeets that love to freak out. Right,
no, they're good. They're behaving themselves as far as I can tell.
Stars the parakeets.
Yeah, there you go. Putting their 2 cents in.
Yeah.
When you're an Archmage, you have to have familiars. Or
exactly.
So from there, it kind of took off where I fell in love with the game, and I was also an avid Magic the Gathering player at the time. So I loved absorbing everything I could about rules.
Okay.
If you handed me a Magic card and I just saw the artwork, I'd be like, oh, I know exactly what that does, and be able to recite it then and there.
Nice.
And I felt like I had to do that with D&D. Of course, we were playing 3.5.
Okay.
So for those of you following at home who knows what 3.5 is like, that's a lot of rules to digest.
Yes, it is. Tanya and I were talking about that earlier this morning, as a matter of fact.
Hence, we limit it to the core book only.
Yeah, when it comes to 3.5.
I know a lot of people that do that, actually.
Uh-huh.
I actually have a pretty solid recommendation as to how to go about that. Do what they do in D&D 5e Adventure League. Do core rulebook plus one other source.
And just pick a source at random or whatever
Or
appeals to
no,
you.
you just like tell them, you can pick any of these books to be your plus one.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like, going to a wedding. Here, you have a plus one. Bring a plus one.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that way you can still mix it up,
Mm-hmm.
but the DM only has to consult one other book for you, and you have one other book that you have to manage, rather than being like, here's 400 feats from the course of these 700 books.
Yeah, no, that's 3.5 in Pathfinder. The one observation I'll make when 3.5 when it first came out, you're like, "Ooh, this is so cool! This is so revolutionary! This is so wonderful!" And then you play it for a couple of years, you're like, "Oh my God, I need another 1-inch binder for my
1 inch. It was like a 12-inch.
Well, we're not going to talk about that in public.
Binders, binders, Christopher, binders.
But
get your head out of the gutter.
But yeah, I had a Mystic Thurge in 3.5, and I literally had a half-inch binder to try and keep everything organized. Spells here, this, that, the other thing was just crazy, and feats and powers, and it was nuts.
Well, that was an epic campaign anyway.
It was, but still. Anyway,
okay. I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind because I've got something fun for you later.
Oh, good. Now,
yeah.
So you kind of dabbled a little bit in fourth when you first were introduced to the game, but then when you became a dungeon master, you were jumping in 3.5. Then you throttled back from 4 to 3.5, and you were creating your own content right from the jump. Did you entertain modules that were already pre-printed, or did you just jump right in and start crafting your own stuff right off the bat?
Well, I started crafting my own stories.
Okay.
I didn't understand rules at all. I mean, I understood them. Like I would take them and be like, okay, these are the rules, and this is. But it wasn't until about 5e came out,
okay,
that I started feeling the urge to create mechanics.
Okay.
Which I even then tried to avoid. Like again, my reluctance was still there, and that carried with me all the way till I started the Mage College. But part of the reason we started in 3.5 was that it was very much guided by the criticism of 4E.
Right.
Which is kind of like to me, it's sort of a sad thing to talk about because I love what 4E tried to do.
Uh-huh.
And there's aspects of it that I actually think are great.
Let me ask you, because I have my own impression of 4E. As a matter of fact, I've discussed my opinion in probably unfortunate levels of detail with Jeremy Crawford when we had him on the show a couple months back. But
I was listening to that. Yes,
good.
I really enjoyed that.
Good. Yeah, it was a great conversation. A hell of a guy. But you had mentioned you found the positives in 4E, and I'd like to know what you thought those were because I could never find them.
So one thing that 4E did that is kind of an advanced role-playing skill, but they didn't really tell you that, was they often took things that said, okay, you have an ability called, we'll say, Stormlance.
Okay.
Right? And you get to use this ability X number of times. They weren't doing per number of hours or spell slots or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you had your at-will, your encounter, and your daily, right? And in essence, they were acknowledging more the structure of the game rather than, talking about the sort of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey of okay, how long has it been? How many are right? Because it's easy to say, oh, a whole day has passed, rather than oh, it's been 2 hours, 3 hours. You're taking a however much amount of time. They were clocking things by game mechanics, by the way that we view it as players.
Okay.
And at the same time, so say you have this Stormlance, right? They would have had a quick blurb like you conjure a pillar of clouds and lightning to thrust at your foes. And then they just gave you what the rules did. So it would be like your, say, intelligence versus their reflex.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave you the damage, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bog you down by saying, you conjure this, 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 and this, and then giving you all of this, extraneous detail, which turns out D&D players like,
right,
despite their hating mincing of words. So that actually left it up to interpretation for players to say, oh, well, my Stormlands looks like this. My Stormlands does, looks and sounds like this.
My Stormlands brings the boys to the yard.
What was that?
Never mind. I said my Stormlands brings all the boys to the yard. So anyway, don't mind me.
Yeah, something like that. That would probably be a feat there if it had a charm effect, I think.
There you go. See, look at that. See, Tanya's rolling her eyes at me, but Derek is working with it. I like Derek better.
That's fine. Maybe he'll save your sorry ass later today.
No, it's entirely possible. Bring it, woman. Anyway, so you were saying though.
So what this does is that allows you to reflavor characters, and reflavoring is really the first step in Homebrew.
Gotcha.
Because there is, and I'm going to plug a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Rich Howard, who worked with Tri-Valley for a while. He's an awesome game designer. He wrote a class called Alchemist, and I found it very early on in my days of playing 5e. Now, of course, part of the problem with playing 5e as opposed to 4e is that you get that like huge like background fluff and flavor of everything,
right?
Mixed in with a moderate amount of rules, not so light as to say if you were playing Dungeon World, but something that it feels like, again, like you're playing D&D. It brought back that sort of 3.5-ness without hammering on 1,000 things you need to keep track of. And so when I picked up the Alchemist class, Alchemist says, basically, your spells look like gadgets. You decide what those look like.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And that's it. Yeah.
It gives you the chance to add your own kind of spin to everything.
Bingo.
Got it.
And so I picked up playing a poisoner, who's this really creepy, like, monotone wood elf named Vandalis that just enjoys poisoning things. He basically is like a cobra in humanoid form, essentially. He's just like, I wonder how much poison this gnome's body can take before he keels over.
So some men just want to watch the world burn. I got it.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And then he's a forensics expert. And that's like the best part. Yeah. So, I get to flavor this alchemist, where you might think, oh, well, I'm going to use, like, little vials and stuff. No, he's using poisons. He uses a cobra familiar. So I got to learn to flavor everything through the lens of one character.
Okay. And that builds part of a foundation of how you go forward and create other things.
Exactly.
Got it.
Because one part of it is that, take, for instance, the Battle Master in 5e. Battle Master is this really, like, kind of bare bones. Like, it's still doing fun stuff. Like, you can disarm people, you can feint, you can do lunges. But what if I told you could play Battle Master as though it was semi-magical? Your lunging attack isn't just you jumping forward and going, ha-ha, but it's instead a miniature teleport.
Okay.
That's cool. Your feint is not just swinging your sword around and you say, look over there, and then you stab them in the groin, which is rude. But instead you create this brief illusion of two swords that they're trying to keep track of.
Gotcha. All right, so you're not doing anything that's seriously unhinging the game mechanics, but you're adding that flavor, that fluff, that color, that kind of makes it more interesting to do these things. You're looking for the dash, the spice.
Exactly.
Okay.
And by doing that, you're also kind of squaring out what is possible and isn't possible in creating more.
Okay.
Because back when 5e was still very new, you open the rogue class, you have thief, you have assassin, you have arcane trickster, and then guys like me who love swashbucklers, if you had ever gone back in time to Sterling Renaissance Festival and met my dad in his heyday, you would know exactly why I'm a swashbuckler rogue.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. There's genetics there. That's like it was a given.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Destiny
I'm a charisma character through and through.
Yeah. So that's cool. And so let me ask you real quick before we go on to anything further. Do you image your dad when you're working that character at all? Do you think about the stuff that he did on stage and behind cross Sterling? Are you thinking about his antics while you're developing that character and playing that character?
In a way, and that's actually interesting. That's an interesting point when talking about creating archetypes and creating this idea is that's really the core of when you're creating an archetype. You have to say, what is the core idea and how far does this stretch?
Okay.
A lot of let's see, what's the nice term? A lot of homebrew that misses the mark, we'll say, is often something that says, oh, well, I am building this class because I want a full swashbuckler class.
Mm-hmm.
But the team of wizards said, we can do swashbuckler simply as a rogue archetype, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you are taking one idea and then simply layering it into the question of what is a rogue? What is a swashbuckler? What is a duelist? And, the idea of that someone can bring this kind of panache and blend it into a single precise strike after this, very elaborate, flourishing combat.
Mm-hmm.
And, so in the idea of what's a swashbuckler like Three Musketeers, or even, the example set forth by my dad at Sterling, or, watching Pirates of the Caribbean for 8 hours straight because, that's your friend group at the time or whatever, before Johnny Depp was weird and awful.
Wait a minute, what's this was stuff that you're talking about? That boy's not hinged right.
But so, you take those ideas and you boil it into one place and you say, this is the touchstone and this is its limit.
Okay.
So, if I wanted to, and, if I wanted to make a character that's like any of these things, there's all these different ways to do it before it comes down to personal preference. And it's this kind of gray area where the sort of creative process goes.
Okay. Now, so you're not creating your own edition per se, but you're finding your own ways of tweaking the current edition.
In a way.
Okay.
So one thing that I might do, because like I said, it's a multi-step process.
Right.
I'm figuring out can I reflavor something? So can I just say, hey guys, this is a cool way to play Battlemaster? Or am I saying, okay, tell you what, today we're making a brand new Paladin Oath with new mechanics and new rules.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually didn't want to do at first when I started the Mage College. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not gonna mess with that at all. And then eventually people started paying me to do it and enjoying my stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's the paradigm for you.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite lines from Dark Knight is, now if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah, there you go.
I often do it for free because, I'm just an altruist.
Now, so what you're basically saying is this kind of what led you towards creating the Mage College?
More or less,
okay.
Yeah. It was kind of this weird kind of area I had to navigate in a way, because that's sort of that's the process, but that's also the same path I took. It's the past and now have been very wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
I love the fact that that's twice now that he has mixed D&D and Doctor Who, two of my favorite things on the planet, and he's just weaving them together like a scarf. It's kind of awesome. I'm rolling with this so far.
The scarf's going to be 12 feet long.
19 from tassel to tassel. Let's get it right, shall we? Okay.
That's why you bring a writer to a metaphor fight.
I love this guy.
He broke me.
Okay, you broke him. You broke Chris.
No, it's fine. With Tanya, all you got to talk about friction. You're fine. There's a long story there, and we're not going to get into it right now because we're talking about the Mage College with Derek Nekritz at the moment. If you've been listening all along, you're picking up a lot of great stuff. If you've just started listening, then what's your problem? You go back and rewind to the beginning and listen all the way through. Do it right this time. Now,
it's not hard.
So let's talk a little bit more about the Mage College. You've got this. Is it all up and running now at this point, or are you satisfied with where it is? It's evolving.
It's evolving. It now has it somehow grew a Neanderthal forehead, and we're trying to reverse that. Our wizards are on it right now. It's constantly evolving. Me and my team, my wife Kana, and our friend Natalie, who we call our tactician, basically is where, even though I'm the boss and the lead designer of things, we brought on Natalie recently as our tactician to keep me on point.
Nice.
Because God knows when your favorite colors in Magic the Gathering are blue and red, you have the work ethic of Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Love it. Love it.
So our team, we have focused on really bringing the Mage College Summer Very Good in 2019. We recently got the domain name, themagecollege.com.
Okay.
Which was a lot easier than throwing in the magecollege.wordpress.com, which still works if you want to be archaic and use that link.
But no, it's themagecollege.com, and that's your website. We can find you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good deal. Okay.
We just reskinned it. We just redesigned it.
I was looking at
we're still working on it.
I was looking at your the mobile version. It was very well designed.
Oh, thank you. It's mostly WordPress's work. I just choose the theme and the colors.
Woohoo!
Tony's very particular about stuff like that because
Yes.
we've seen some poorly formatted stuff over the years. So,
Yes.
but
And recently.
and recently,
It makes if I see a poorly designed anything, I get very upset.
it was other convention, right? Anyway,
No,
I've
I'm not
been
even.
to those
It's even
websites.
more recent than that.
more
but-
recent than that.
But
Okay,
we're not going to go into it.
so no, so you rescan, you redesign, reborn, as it were, and the magecollege.com. And what are you creating there? What is the overall, I guess, goal of the Mage College?
Lots and lots of money. I'm kidding.
Sign me up.
Yeah, seriously, we'll be partners.
So our goal is, as it's funny, when I created the Mage College, I was working as a college tutor. So I wanted to do something where it's like, hey, I'll share ideas and guide people in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Which turns out you can lead a horse to water, but you can't give the horse a martini, or however the expression goes.
I'd love to try and give a horse a martini. That could be entertaining. Just saying.
You'll quickly find you're going to the desert on a horse with no brain after a martini.
Nice.
Not to be confused with no name.
Bam! No, he's on fire today. I love this kid. All right, I'm sorry. Keep going, man.
And he's considered a kid to you because he's like in his 20s,
Everybody's
right?
a kid to me. So,
I'm 27, so
Yeah.
I consider myself a kid too, because compared to a lot of the other creators out there who've been at this forever, I'm just like, hi, I've been playing this game for 5 years. Which is wrong
I took a
on
break
some
from the
level.
game for 5 years.
Sometimes you have those sessions, yes.
Yeah.
But so when I had created it, I wanted to give it something kind of like a, hey, let's lead you to some fun ideas. I'm
Cool.
not telling you how to play it. I'm giving you venues to explore.
Right.
So one thing we do is we talk about how you can build characters, like through our multi-class mastery articles, where we talk about, hey, this is a cool multi-class build you can make, not for the sake of optimization, because I personally don't care for optimization.
Yeah, you and me have the same
Back in
thought
the
there.
Magic the Gathering days,
Yeah.
I don't need to play Magic the Gathering with my D&D characters.
Mm-hmm.
I instead enjoy playing thematic characters, which is kind of like our second, do I homebrew this test of, can I make this neat theme? And Multi-Class Mastery explores that. So we had one with, what's it called? Master Thrower is what some people might know it as. The idea of like that kind of like bullseye-like character where you can just throw anything and be really good at it.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole recipe of how to make a character like that.
Gotcha.
Or maybe talking about how do you create a character and on a theme and make the mechanics fit them, or how do you make those choices? And nowadays we kind of like once, twice a month we'll put up a free piece of homebrew material that's brand new, that's completely exclusive to there. So this month I think I'm working on an Oath of Finality Paladin, which is all about like killing people and making sure they stay dead.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand the
Yeah.
finality part.
Yep. Oh yeah, they're all about like, this is the end, there's no more. It's like, imagine like the Vengeance Paladin, but in this kind of like somber, kind of like Raven Queen sort of Requiem kind of sense.
Okay.
So that's something you can look forward to. And then some of like other bits of our time, we're also releasing playtest material for our products on DM's Guild.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
this coming week, I am previewing a new spell that will be in our upcoming Golden Eyes Guide to Warlocks Part 1. So people get to play with those things, and then it's also about generating interest to the Patreon, which has more exclusive stuff. It's a lot. But
That's cool.
More
Good
or
luck,
less,
though. That's awesome.
It is a full menagerie of fun things to play with.
Okay. So you're doing a lot for character building, for play building, things like that. But are you doing anything with world building? Are you talking about like, how to put together a dungeon, how to put together a town, how to put together, whole cities, how they fit together, things like that?
Currently, I haven't done much of that.
Okay.
Mostly because that's not how do I put this? So you know how there's that one guy in the room who goes, "I guess I'll be the dungeon master."
Mm-hmm.
Turns out for every one guy who says, "I guess I'll be the dungeon master," there's 10 more people who want to be the player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm familiar.
Yeah, exactly. So oftentimes, the volume of my articles that are geared towards character creation are for the people who want to play characters.
Gotcha.
And that's often, by and large, mostly who you get.
Okay.
I say this as a person who's maybe could count the number of times I've been a player with some appendage of my body.
Oof.
So, that being said, of course, that's stuff that I want to get into.
Uh-huh.
But telling someone how to DM is a lot harder than telling somebody a way that they might be able to play.
Right. No, I agree. I hear your point there.
Mostly because, DMing in this sort of way is a much more exploratory venue where, you have a session and go, "Damn, I did not describe a single smell that whole session. I'm the worst." Or somebody else will say, "Oh gosh, I haven't had a single good NPC name come up. I really got to do XYZ."
Right.
And a lot of that's been explored. And as somebody who is known for creating, homebrew or third-party character options, a lot of what I do is telling people why I'm not going to do what they want.
Got it. Tony, you had a quick question?
Yes. Going off of that, what advice would you give to someone who wants to really jump into the world of DMing?
Oh, goodness.
Don't do it.
I would say...
Crap.
I was
did
going to say drink heavily beforehand.
Drink? No, seriously.
Hence,
No.
bring me alcohol today.
Yes, dear.
No, I would say best thing you can do, the first thing you can do, other than getting a basic grip of the rules. I don't care if you don't know what carrying capacity means. I don't care if you don't know what the high jump distance is. It's 3 plus your strength modifier if you have a running jump. I don't care if you don't know how long you can hold your breath for underwater. It's a number of rounds equal to your constitution. No, it's a number of minutes equal to your constitution modifier. And suffocating is a number of rounds equal to your... Sorry, no, I'll stop.
This is good. This helps me now.
How can she make
you
Chris
don't
suffer?
want to open encyclopedia.exe in my head. It's not good. But I would say communicate with your players is the foremost thing you can do.
Right. Let them help you tell the story.
Yes, let them help you tell the story. So when you're struggling to come up with an NPC, I can say, Tanya, what's your contact's name again? Because you're playing a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you might have an answer. Or if you don't, you can work with the table to do so. But also, you can figure out the experience they want. Sometimes you have a GM who's like, "Hey, welcome to the roller coaster of not leaving this space." And then Steve goes, I hate railroading. I want to play a sandbox."
Okay.
And then the DM's like, "Oh, well, okay. I guess we're gonna make this more sandboxy."
Mm-hmm.
And not that sandboxing or railroading is necessarily wrong. I think that DMs need a mix of both to be able to maintain the structure of the game. But communication is the basis for the structure. Mm-hmm. You can't just play a game and suddenly expect everybody to be on the same page. Right. Because even the fiction of D&D takes place in everybody's minds in a different form.
Mm-hmm. We all see the same thing differently.
Exactly. What your character looks like and is doing is different than the way that I'm interpreting it. What the DM is describing sometimes might have details that aren't there. If people communicate, you can actually work your way to a better experience for everybody, because that's what it's ultimately about. The DM isn't some human gaming console that can run D&D indefinitely and come up with a perfect game.
Right. Although we've met people who come close.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have at least a DM that could do it pretty well, only because he's been playing since the early 80s. So
right. And even then, there's still styles and everything, and the DM's not going to be able to work with somebody unless they actually talk with you. Because God knows, D&D is not a game designed by Hideo Kojima, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, I love this because Kojima's name is on it." It's something that is made at the table. So if you want to pick up DMing, get people that will work with you.
Gotcha.
I think we're definitely very fortunate because we have a core group that we've been playing with for
A long time now.
numerous years. So, granted, back in September, October, I took over DMing.
Yep.
And
which is fun.
Which is the first time
Sorry to hear
in many years, and I'm working on 5th edition, and I've played Basic, 1st edition, 2nd edition, 3rd edition, Pathfinder, Star Wars, whatever.
Yeah.
So we just started playing 5th edition. I'm like, well, I like the fact that there's only one book. There's not as many. It's not as rules heavy, but
there's a certain elegance to 5th edition
Yes.
that 3, 5, and 4 kind of dropped the ball on. And 5th edition feels very kind of easy to get into, easy to kind of adopt. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Derek, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, that's actually, it's interesting you say that because that was the idea behind 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, that was, a game design conceit where conceit is often a term that game designers use to say, this is, a core thesis of my game.
Right.
And that's what, that's actually what makes it easier for people like who do what I do, because there's a less dense set of like math and balance and all this other shenanigans going around that not only does it make it easier to pick up and actually tweak, it's very much geared to be the game of whoever picks it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it goes to show its success because D&D has never been more mainstream or popular in the current global consciousness. Global consciousness.
Well, it's funny because my mom was talking to me last week or so about Sofia Vergara's husband.
Yeah, Joe.
And she's like, oh my God, they were in his house and he has a dungeon and things like that. Now, my mom had like not a clue exactly what we do on occasion for Dungeons and Dragons and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just like,
she knows you play, that's it.
She knows I play, but she's like, what do you do again? So, but she was actually able to like be excited about something and said, his basement's like a dungeon. He's got to, I'm like, haven't you seen our basement type thing? I'm like,
the thing is,
it was just so funny that
the game has now something that it's never had before, and that's ambassadors with face and name recognition. And so it was easy
like
to
Vin
kind of
Diesel and
and Sofia Vergara. I can't think of his last name.
Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello. Yeah. Thank you.
I knew it started with an M.
I was going to massacre it. I knew it was. He's a paisan. He's an Italian like I am. But there's all these people who have brought it out into the spotlight and have destigmatized it to a particular degree.
Well, I mean, it was on Stranger Things. It was on The Big Bang Theory. It's and it's just coming more towards the forefront of it.
2 words: critical role. That was the game changer. So it's all now. It's like, oh, okay, now the whole world is opened up, and okay, now we're all getting a chance to play and create. And Derek has been given this great easel to paint on, and I think you're doing a wonderful job with it. I've been tinkering with your website a little bit in prep for this interview, and I'm loving it. It's so great to see the imagination.
I want your wife to do some picture art for my characters.
That's actually a question that Sherry wanted me to ask Derek is do you take commissions for custom work?
Well, both of us do. Yes.
Okay.
I take commissions for rules, which. Pricing tends to go something like, if you want a subclass designed, I'll do it for like $3, which is writing-wise kind of low. But, basically I have someone sign a contract where they say, I'm not going to resell this, and if I do, Derek's Dhampir assassin comes after me. But if it's something like if it's something like a full class, I'll do it for like $9 and include like subclasses. And then anything from there, it's all negotiable because it's a community game and I want it to make it affordable community,
right?
Especially if it's only a single sale. And then Kana's prices, for artwork, she does portraits for, I believe it's $50, and full body for like $75. And she does amazing work. She illustrates all of our DM's Guild products, like the cover of Chaotician, which came out last week. That's her work.
Okay.
It's
wow.
Beautiful.
Oh, I've seen that. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's this beautiful full body of our tacticians, Eladrin Chaotician, and just in gorgeous color. And it's kind of great that we just get to be able to help make people's ideas come to life, either in mechanics or visually or a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I have some stuff that I want to talk to you about, but that'll be offline because that's a thing, and not necessarily important to the interview. Now, it was funny. Another one of the questions that Sherry had set aside for me is, you had been on our Looney Tunes episode last year, and what have you been doing since then? It sounds like you pretty much answered that. So I will jump.
In a way, there's
yeah.
There's been more.
No. There's a lot more going on.
There's a lot. Well, that's the thing. I was going to lead to the question of what upcoming for Archmage Derek. What do you got going on right now? What are the things we can look forward to?
Well, as far as what I normally do, we have GoldenEye's Guide to Warlocks coming out, which is an 8-piece installment coming to DM Skills that investigates 8 new Warlock patrons with invocations and spells for each one, art done by our fantastic Anna, and then once all 8 of those are done, it comes out in a deluxe edition where they're all blended together, a little bit, prices shaved off with more material in it on top of that, with magic items and like other just fluff and flavor to help you fully create an interesting warlock. And then we have more on top of that. I am in the process of designing not 1, but 3 original games. 2 of them are kind of supplementary. One of them is completely standalone. One of which being like Cards Against Humanity meets Dungeons and Dragons.
Woohoo!
It's called Whose Quest Is It Anyways?
Oh, what? I do remember. I remember a previous conversation where you had brought that up. So I want to hear a little bit more about that one.
I volunteer as tribute to playtest.
Lovely. So
we all
Whose Quest Is Anyway is basically it is a series of prompt cards that can be played in whatever system you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically for tables that are okay having sort of a loosey-goosey, wacky fun time.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say, okay, so you round the corner and you face your greatest fear of, bam, 3 halflings in a trench coat. And then you play it out. And it's like, okay, well, in order to deal with these 3 halflings in a trench coat, I am going to use my knife of seductive whispering. And then it's like, okay, what does the knife do? And you might decide the knife of seductive whispering is just this knife that you draw out out of its sheath, and you just hear, hey, how you doing? Looking good today. And it doesn't do anything. It's just this really weirdly, just this knife that just likes to hit on you. And
that's hilarious.
It sounds like true.
Go ahead.
It sounds like true side questing and digressing.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. You have no idea. Nobody has any clue where this is about to go. That's the best part.
Right. And so, but the player might say, well, actually, my knife of seductive whispering is actually going to charm the halfling in the middle of the trench coat, so the whole thing falls apart. And it's like, okay, roll it. So it's all very much up to interpretation.
That's funny.
Well, having no idea what's coming next.
Derek.
And yes.
Are you familiar with a game called It's Not My Fault?
No, but that sounds like a game I play at work regularly.
Or me earlier this week. It wasn't my fault.
It's the story of Han Solo.
They told me they fixed it.
It's not my fault. All right.
It's a game. They're cards that you create a scenario. Basically, you draw a scenario at random, and with a group of players, and then each person goes around and says why whatever the scenario is not their fault.
Oh, awesome!
And so you come up with basically storytelling.
And then you start the game from that, and it's for one shots and things like, oh, it's not my fault because Bob over here, he's the one who broke the door down. And Bob says, oh, no, it's not my fault because Susan was, and you have to go around and say why it's the other person's fault, the next person in line's fault.
And then whoever stumbles gets killed.
Scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's
very funny.
That is great.
It just what you were just saying reminded me of that a little bit. And it's something that I just picked up and haven't had a chance to play yet.
Hey, it's
that sounds neat. Yeah.
PDF for $5.
Ooh.
Yep.
Sounds like it's got potential.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he is Derek. He is the Archmage. His wife is Kana. She is the arch artist. Yes. And they
curious
are
what
behind
they're
the
always
Mage College, themagecollege.com. And if you are a gamer, if D&D is your life, as it is for me and several other people, this is definitely a site you're going to want to check out. Derek, I'm going to just ask right now, is there a possibility we can get you back on the show going forward, have some more interviews, hear how things are coming along?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for your time today, sir.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a great conversation. I appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump to break. And when we come back, we've got events and we've got our question of the week.
Ooh.
Hey, Tanya, do we got events coming up?
Yes, we do.
That is amazing.
On April 13th and 14th, my microphone is having issues. But
only on April 13th and 14th will your microphone have any issues.
Probably.
Yes, right now it's fine, though.
April 13th and 14th, down at the Blue Cross Arena on, what is it, State Street?
No.
Exchange.
That's Exchange.
Exchange and Broad.
Exchange and Broad.
State Street's further up now.
Yes,
Yeah.
Once it crosses Main Street.
Right.
Okay. But isn't it like One War Memorial Drive?
Yes,
is
that's
the
the
other
technical address.
technical address? Okay. But it is our 4th Flower City Comic-Con.
So this is just a small event that we're throwing on for a week. Just a
yeah,
small weekend
just
kind of affair.
Yeah.
So the building that Bruce Springsteen played in is now going to host FC3.
Absolutely. I think Journey was there and other things.
As a matter of fact, Foreigner played 4 album there. They played the 4 album there. So, FC3 4. There's a whole thing about 4s showing it. FC3 4.
I've seen lots of concerts there.
But if you haven't noticed, we have announced some guests already.
Yeah, we have. I think we've announced the big 5 that we've signed on at this point.
We have announced. It is Forever Yellow.
Yes.
Hashtag Forever Yellow. You're welcome, Ray. And Nico. We have Tracy Lynn Cruz, Nakia Baris, and returning Karen Ashley.
So all 3 Yellow Rangers from the Power Rangers series.
And all 3 are all from the Zordon era.
Or you can call if you're not a fan of the show, you can call it the Zordon error. That's fine.
Because Zordon leaves at the end of Tracy's season.
He just gets up, packs up, puts his hat on, walks away.
Something happens, and
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
You guys can ask him. I think something blows up. Whatever. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Ask Ray.
Ask Ray.
Yeah.
Everyone shoot Ray a question.
I just want to make it clear to all the Power Rangers fans. No, I don't think Zordon is actually voiced by Eric Cartman. I'm just rolling.
Okay.
There.
So
who else do we got coming?
We have an artist, writer, Rusty Gilligan.
Okay.
We have a wrestler, one day only on Sunday, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yep.
Oh! That's his
thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you mentioned it to Paulie yet?
I haven't. I haven't seen Paulie since
Paulie and Wheels.
announcement.
On Friday, I was thinking about it after we were announcing him. I'm like, I got to tell them. And announced today, actor Michael Biehn.
Yep.
Biehn.
And he's going to be Saturday only.
Saturday only.
Now, if that name sounds familiar, but you can't place where you heard him from, he was the original Kyle Reese in the original Terminator movie. He was
had
also
to come after what, John Connor?
Yes. Well, he came to protect Sarah, who had not yet given, and turned out to be. Here's the spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
He's John Connor's father. He went back in time and became his best friend's dad.
Okay.
Anyway, but he was also Corporal Hicks in Aliens, Johnny Ringo in...
Hence your hint the other night?
Yes, when I did my Monday broadcast, and only one person. Congratulations, Lou. You figured it out. So somebody wake up Hicks, because he's coming to FC3, and then Johnny Ringo in the legendary Western movie Tombstone,
I'm gonna have to go back and
many,
watch
many other
Tombstone
parts.
again.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
One question: will Rusty Gilligan get mad if I call him Little Buddy?
I don't know. You might have to try that.
You need to cosplay as Skipper and see what happens. That's the thing.
We are still accepting applications for vendors, artists, writers, panelists, game designers, game runners, and others. Also volunteers.
So
We love
definitely
them.
contact us for more information. Tony, did you get an email from me?
Yes, I did.
Yay!
Nice.
In regards to volunteering. So,
Yes.
So those that have submitted applications for volunteers, you are going to be receiving emails from me soon.
So, April 13th and 14th, 2019, at the Blue Cross Arena, Flower City Comic-Con number 4, coming at you like a spider monkey. All is right with the
I
world.
can't imagine.
So FC3...
Four.
Not cube to the 4th power.
Yes, to the 4th power.
No, it's not really FC3 to the 4th power. because it's Flower City Comic-Con. So
Oh,
the
see,
City Comic-Con is to the
The
third
math
power.
teacher and
So
the
to the third-
engineering
so
student.
it's
are now-
FC3
Third raised to the fourth
Billy
power.
kill both mics.
So FC3 to the 12th.
Yes.
Okay.
This is you too. I can't take you anywhere. I really can't. I can't take you anywhere.
Want to
All
be a
right.
part of FC3 Monkey Business and the Mighty,
Script time.
Mighty Monkey Corporation?
The first way is to become a sponsor. We have sponsorship levels of all kinds and are even willing to create custom sponsorship packets. Please contact us at sponsorships@fc3roc.org. I'm working
Your
on my radio
radio
announce.
voice.
I broke out the radio
Radio
voice for that
announce.
shit. That was awesome. The next is by supporting us on Patreon. Patreon is a way to support the people who are creating the things you love. Please check us out at www.patreon.com/FC3ROC. All membership levels will include access to the Patreon-only blog, plus tons of great perks at all levels. Special shout-outs to our See No Evil tier patrons, James Irish, Jen Bevan, and our very own Tanya Metris.
I see evil every day.
Yes, she does. She teaches high school for a living. Want to help others find the show? Please leave us a review wherever you listen to us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Podbean, YouTube, and Stitcher. Is there a place you find your podcast but can't find FC3 Monkey Business? Let us know, and we will work on fixing that. And please follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at FC3MB Podcast. And if you do, say hi. We love it when you say hi. We're ultra social peoples. So our question
guys,
of the week. Yes, Sherry Bear.
Guys, before the question,
Yes, Sherry.
we got some exciting news.
We do.
I love exciting
FC3, you love exciting news. FC3 Monkey Business is going to have a new home on the web.
Really?
Very, very soon.
Ooh.
Yes.
So we're going to be even easier to find now.
We're going to have our own website, guys.
Oh my God! Is that finally coming to happen? That's awesome.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Good stuff.
New website and new platform, and I will have all the details hopefully by your live broadcast Monday night.
Nice. I need those Monday.
So hopefully by
the Monday notes
by the time this drops,
Yeah.
it should be out.
That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful
So
thing.
go there right now if you're listening. Oh,
if
I'm
you're
sorry.
listening right now, you will be able to go to a place that we don't have the address for yet.
Just look around the web. There's only a couple websites
I know,
out there,
seriously.
and then you'll find it.
There's only the internet is a very easy place to surf through.
Could someone please tell me what the internet is?
Oh, I see you're doing your Katie Couric impression. Very nice.
Well, it's a web, and it's worldwide.
What?
Wow.
What's Netscape?
Okay. Oh no.
I had Netscape when I first
did
got
too.
my first computer.
I did too. All right, refocusing so we can wrap this puppy up.
Just email me on Hotmail if you're looking for more info.
AOL, baby. Question of the week. Derek, you've been such a patient guest. We're going to hit you up first. Was there anything on your Amazon wish list that you actually got for Christmas this year?
Oh, Sweet Time Mori, you still have me here? God, play the
I love this kid. I really do. He's awesome.
Well, thank you for sticking around for the practice one. We're going to start our recording real soon.
I got a whole list of other questions I want to ask you. Thank you for the warm-up stuff. That was good. Okay.
I did happen to get from my loving wife, our head curator, Kana. She got me the gift set edition of the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and DM's the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Oh, cool.
Like big, fancy, super sweet artwork box with all the limited edition covers and stuff, and they're super nice, and they have all the updated rules and stuff, which they finally made Beastmaster better, thank God. But yeah. Sadly, my one-way trip to Menzo Branson didn't pan out for my wish list.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Maybe next
If
year.
you're gonna die, at least die at the hands of Loth, right? Darn, maybe next year.
I want to see a show of hands. How many people got that reference? My hand's going up. There we go. Okay. Sherry,
Yes,
did you get anything from your Amazon wish list for Christmas this year?
I am using something right at this moment that I got from my Amazon wish list.
Remember, this is a PG-13 show, so make sure it's not the thing I think it is. No, I'm kidding. It's terrible.
No Princess Leia body pillows.
Yeah.
Nope, I got a brand new set of podcasting headphones with a built-in speaker, so I'm hoping I don't sound quite as bad as I normally do.
No,
when
you're
I'm
coming in nice and clear this time. We've had some issues in the past, but this is coming off really nice.
Good, because I really wanted it.
Good.
So these are great. And they're also a little bit noise canceling, so I'm not distracted. I'm sitting in my kitchen, and I'm not being distracted by the things going on around me.
Uh-huh. Very good.
Nice.
Billy, how about you? Anything off the wish list this year?
I got a couple gift cards from Amazon, from which I purchased something off my wish list, so I guess that counts. The Silver Surfer Omnibus, which
very
is
cool.
a big 700-page collection of the Silver Surfer comics that from 2014 through 2016, written by Dan Slott and Michael Allred. Collects the whole series. Like I said, it's about 700 pages, and I got that, and I still have a little bit of money left on those gift cards, so I'm waiting for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse to come out on Blu-ray.
That was a great freaking movie.
I saw it, I think since the last time I saw it. I don't remember, but
I still need to see it.
I loved it.
Oh, it was so good.
It's Susan's favorite movie of the year. Of
so far, yeah,
2018,
absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
and so I'm waiting for that.
Tanya has walked out, so we're going to keep pushing along here. Tony?
Let's see. I didn't get my hippopotamus. I didn't get my 2 front teeth. I didn't get my hula hoop. What did I get? Oh, yeah, no, I did. My family surprised me and sprung for some of the computer parts I was wishing for, so I have a fully functioning desktop PC now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I got a 1070 GTX graphics card, and that thing is freaking wild.
Well, you were saying back when we were talking about computers before, it's not really the RAM, it's the graphics card now that really makes video the thing.
Yeah. I mean, RAM is still very important, don't get me wrong, but the big what people emphasize nowadays is the graphics card.
Right.
The big one right now is the 1080.
Okay.
They just released the 20 series, so you have like your 2070, your 2080, your 2050, stuff like that. But all that stuff is relatively untested. So, and it costs both
arm and a leg,
arms, legs, heads,
and plural.
Yeah,
arms and legs, plural.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, because my answer was no. I didn't get anything off of my wish list. So we're just going to move on. We're going to move on. That has been Monkey Business for another week. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be home, and we will see you all very soon. April 13th and 14th at the Blue Cross Arena, we will have Flower City Comic-Con #4. Looking forward to that much, very, very much. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us wherever the entertainment is. And we'll probably be the ones causing it. I don't know. I lost that one.
Okay. About 10 seconds ago, but dun, dun.
Dun, dun. I was really good at this last year.